I'm 34 and my mom is 65. She's not being reasonable and doesn't get that we have our own busy lives. I need help figuring out how to deal with her. My mom has always had high expectations and standards that she expects everyone to meet. She complains about everything that doesn't fit her view or how people should behave. My whole life, I've been constantly told what I should and shouldn't do. She doesn't talk to me like a mom teaching her child, but instead, it's always do it my way or you're wrong. It's really condescending. We've disagreed on things for over 20 years and I'm exhausted from being put down. Her latest complaints have me wondering if I need help managing the situation or if I'm the one being unreasonable. Honestly, I've been extremely busy over the past couple of years. I've had full custody of my 15-year-old daughter since she was 9, as her biological mom is an addict using needles and crack and has been absent from her life. I've been solely responsible for taking care of my daughter and providing for her needs. To make matters worse, her biological mom also committed fraud against me, stealing tens of thousands of dollars, and I've been dealing with the court case for years. It's been a huge financial burden. Luckily, my fiancé has been amazing with my daughter, and they get along great, which helps with some of the responsibilities. We're also in the middle of moving right now. My fiancé and I both owned our own homes before we got together, and we've been living in one of them while renting out the other. Now, we're switching things up and moving into the rental house, which has better amenities for our needs. We'll either sell or rent out the other house. The thing is, both houses need work, and we're trying to tackle it bit by bit when our finances allow. We both have full-time jobs, pets to take care of, and a ton of weekly chores. And to add to the chaos, my fiancé is also pregnant and in her early stages. Last night, my mom and dad went off on me during our weekly visit, saying it's fucking ridiculous that they only get to see us once a week. I was so angry that I hung up the phone. It came out of nowhere and was said with so much anger. We make time to see them when we can, but we're really busy right now. We've got a lot going on. And to make it harder, my mom doesn't want visitors before 9 p.m. So we can't just drop by on a Saturday afternoon or swing by after dinner around 7 p.m. No, it has to be after 9 p.m., which is a really tough time for us to manage. It's also a 20-minute drive to get to her place and back, which adds to the challenge. Often, we don't get home until 12 or 12:30 a.m. on a weekday, which is just too exhausting on some nights. Plus, she never responds to our messages in a timely way. We might text her at 4 p.m. to ask if we can visit, and we won't hear back from her until 8 or 8:30 p.m. It's hard to plan our evening when we only hear from her at the last minute about a visit, and we can't go over before 9 p.m. Often, we end up making other plans for the evening because we don't hear back from her, and by the time she responds, it's too late to change our plans. I'm not making excuses for not seeing my mom more often, because I do see her regularly once a week, in fact. But the thing is, it has to be on her terms, at a time that's convenient for her, which doesn't always fit with our busy schedules and workload, especially since it has to be after 9 p.m. I think it's worth noting that many of our friends only see their families once a month, if that. So, in comparison, I think seeing my mom once a week is actually pretty frequent. My mom is fully aware of everything we have going on in our lives, but she seems to not care. Her exact words about our situation with the pregnancy, my daughter's needs, the court cases, the houses, our jobs, and all the chores were I don't give a shit. You guys should have time for more visits during the week. It's fucking ridiculous. She's adding unnecessary stress to our lives by not understanding that we're busy and doing our best. We have our own family to take care of with our own needs and responsibilities. It feels like she's not considering our well-being or acknowledging that we have our own priorities to manage. My fiancé and I are considering having a direct conversation with my mom to let her know how her behavior is affecting us. We want to tell her that her constant criticism and unrealistic expectations are adding stress to our lives, being unreasonable, and negatively impacting our well-being. We feel like she's not considering our busy schedules and our own family's needs. We're thinking of asking her to take a step back and not contact us until she can work through her issues and become more understanding and reasonable. But now I'm wondering, are we being too harsh? Are we the ones being unreasonable, or is this a necessary boundary to set? As I reflect on this situation, I realized I made a small mistake earlier. I'm actually 34 years old, not my fiancé's age, which I mentioned by mistake. It's funny how our minds can get jumbled up when we're stressed or overwhelmed. But anyway, being 34, I feel like I'm at a stage in my life where I've got a lot of responsibilities and priorities to juggle. I've got my own family to take care of, a pregnancy to prepare for, and a lot of other adulting to do. And yet, my mom's behavior is still causing me so much stress and anxiety. It's like I get it. She's my mom and she wants to see me, but can't she see that I'm doing my best here? Can't she understand that I'm not trying to neglect her? But I've just got a lot on my plate right now. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has offered advice and support. I apologize if I wasn't able to respond to each and every one of you, but please know that I've read every comment and message, and I'm deeply grateful for your insights and encouragement. It's been incredibly comforting to realize that we're not alone in this struggle. So many of you have shared similar experiences with your own parents, and it's helped me feel more grounded and less isolated. I've also been actively engaging with the community on Are Raised by Narcissists, as suggested by some of you, and it's been a game changer. Reading others' stories and sharing my own has helped me process my emotions and gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of narcissistic personality disorder. Thank you all again for your kindness, empathy, and guidance. It means the world to me and my fiancé as we navigate this challenging situation with my mom. It's been about 20 to 25 days since I decided to take a step back and go no contact with my mother. It's been a significant change, and I'm still adjusting to the new dynamic. Interestingly, my father and I still chat daily via text, which has been a comforting constant in my life. But with my mother, it's been radio silence except for 2 brief texts. She sent me a cursory, "What are you guys doing?" message, to which I responded briefly. That's it. No calls, no follow-up texts, no effort to reach out and connect. It's been a stark contrast to her previous behavior, where she would often call or text multiple times a day. The silence is deafening, and it's made me realize just how much emotional labor I was putting into our relationship. I'm still processing my feelings about this new development, but it's given me space to focus on myself and my own family's needs. I've had a really in-depth conversation with my sister about the whole situation, and it's been a huge relief to find that we're on the same wavelength. She's just as baffled as I am by my mom's controlling behavior and her obsessive need to dictate when and how we visit. My sister has also pointed out how my mom's behavior has affected our father, essentially turning him into a prisoner in his own home. She believes that my mom's constant demands and guilt-tripping have prevented him from having any kind of social life or independence. It's a whole other can of worms, but it's clear that my mom's behavior has had far-reaching consequences for our entire family. Anyway, my sister agrees that I did the right thing by taking a step back and giving my mom some space to cool off. She thinks it's essential to set boundaries and prioritize our own well-being, even if it means taking a break from my mom's toxic behavior. So, that's exactly what I've done. I've taken a break from communicating with my mom, and it's been a weight off my shoulders. My fiancé and I are still up to our necks in chaos. We're juggling a million tasks at once, trying to wrap up the move between our 2 houses. We're both working full-time, and on top of that, we have a ton of other responsibilities that are eating into our time. We're feeling the pressure because we need to be out of the rental house by the end of the month and into our primary home. It's a tight deadline, and there's still so much to do. I'm even considering taking time off work to make it happen. And if that wasn't enough, we're also dealing with some minor fixes and adjustments at the rental property. Oh, and did I mention we're renting it out to my fiance's mom? So we're using our truck to help her move her stuff in while we're trying to move our own stuff out. It's a logistical nightmare. And to top it all off, we're still doing weekly grocery runs for my parents because they don't drive. It's exhausting just thinking about it. We're trying to stay focused and get everything done, but it's taking a toll on our stress levels and our relationship. We just want to get through this crazy period and start enjoying our new life together. My fiancé is still in the early stages of pregnancy, and I'm trying to take on as much as I can to support her. Even though she's more than capable of handling things, I want to minimize her workload and stress as much as possible. Pregnancy can be overwhelming, both physically and emotionally, and I want to be there for her. On top of the chaos of moving and work, we're also dealing with the usual everyday stuff: back to school shopping for my daughter, regular household chores, taking care of our dogs, and all the other general life tasks that keep us busy. It's a lot to juggle, but we're trying to stay on top of it all. I'm trying to be more proactive, taking care of things before they become issues, and being more present for my fiancée and daughter. It's not always easy, but we're in this together, and I'm grateful for that. Honestly, we're just exhausted. The past few weeks have been a blur of non-stop activity, and we're feeling drained. But despite all the chaos, we're making sure to prioritize each other. We know that our relationship is the foundation of our little family, and we can't let it suffer, no matter how busy we get. So we're intentional about setting aside time for each other, even if it's just a quiet dinner at home or a walk around the block. We're all doing well, considering the circumstances. We're healthy, happy, and in good spirits, which is all that really matters. And as for my parents, they were warned that we'd be extra busy for a couple of months. They know about the move, the pregnancy, work, and all the other stuff we're dealing with. They're aware that this is a temporary season of busyness, and we're not just blowing them off. We've communicated our boundaries and needs clearly, and now it's time for them to respect those boundaries. I made a mistake yesterday. I decided to break the no-call rule because my mom's birthday is coming up at the end of the month, and I wanted to get her a gift. I thought I'd casually call her and ask what she's been reading lately, so I could get her a new book or two. But the moment she answered the phone, I knew I'd made a mistake. The call lasted maybe 20 seconds, but it was enough to leave me feeling frazzled and frustrated. She immediately launched into a critical tirade, complaining about something I'd done or hadn't done, and I just knew I wasn't in the right headspace to deal with it. I tried to politely extricate myself, but she just kept going. It was like she'd been waiting for an opportunity to unleash her pent-up emotions, and I'd unwittingly given her the opening. I ended the call as quickly as I could, feeling like I'd made a huge mistake. Why had I thought that would be a good idea? Now I'm just bracing myself for the fallout. The call was a disaster from the start. I tried to make small talk, asking her what she was up to lately, but she immediately turned it into an opportunity to guilt-trip me into visiting. She said, "Just started eating dinner. Why don't you guys swing by when I'm done for a visit?" I was taken aback by the request, especially since it was already 8:52 p.m. I explained that it was too late for a visit, that we were exhausted from a long day of school shopping for my daughter, which had been expensive, and that we just finished moving 2 truckloads of furniture. But she wouldn't let it go. She snapped at me, saying, "Well, that's just fucking ridiculous, my name. We live in the same city, you can't take any time to visit." Her tone was venomous, and I could feel the anger and resentment simmering beneath the surface. I was shocked by her reaction, and I knew right then that I'd made a mistake by calling. I should have just stuck to my boundaries and not engaged. I tried to shut down the conversation, telling her, "I'm not having a phone call about this shit. You know how busy we are lately with all we have on the go, so leave it at that." But she wouldn't let it go. She kept pushing, refusing to accept my boundaries. I explained that even if we left right then, we'd arrive at her place at 9:45 p.m., which was too late for a visit, but she just wouldn't drop it. She said, "No, I'm not dropping it. How do you not have a couple free evenings to come in and see me?" Her tone was incredulous, as if it was unreasonable for us to have our own priorities and commitments. She seemed to expect us to drop everything to accommodate her, without regard for our own needs or schedules. I felt my frustration boiling over, and I knew I needed to end the call before it escalated further. I tried to reason with her, explaining that I'm not just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I have a multitude of responsibilities and commitments that take up my time. I said, "You forget what it was like when you were my age or something? I have daughter to take care of, school shopping to do, and time to spend with her. We're in the middle of moving between houses, which is a huge undertaking, and we're both working full-time jobs. We're also helping fiance's mother move, and on top of that, we have our own household to manage shopping, cooking, cleaning, and day-to-day tasks. And let's not forget, fiance's pregnant, so we want to make time for each other too." But she refused to listen, refused to understand. She just dismissed it all, saying, "That's not excuses to come in here." I find it fucking ridiculous. Her words cut deep, implying that I'm somehow neglecting her, that my priorities are wrong. It's like she thinks I should just drop everything for her, without regard for my own life or responsibilities. It's exhausting and frustrating. I hung up the phone, feeling frustrated and defeated. What was the point of even trying to have a conversation with her? I realized that breaking the no-call rule had been a mistake, and I shouldn't have opened myself up to her toxic behavior again. At this point, I'm done. I'm not going to engage with her anymore. I'll just drop off a gift at the end of the month, maybe leave it on the steps, and that's it. I deserve better than to be treated like this. But what's helping me through all this is knowing I'm not alone. Reading about others' experiences with their own crazy parents on these subs has been a lifeline. It's comforting to know that I'm not the only one dealing with this kind of behavior, and that others understand what I'm going through. So thank you to everyone who shares their stories and offers support. It means more than you know. I just wanted to vent a bit and update you all on the situation. Unfortunately, things haven't improved. If anything, they've gotten worse. I'm still trying to wrap my head around my mom's audacity. She has the nerve to complain to me about not visiting or calling enough, yet she hasn't even bothered to phone her own son in 20 to 25 days. It's mind-boggling. Why does all the emotional labor fall on me? Why do I always have to be the one to reach out, to appease, to compromise? It's exhausting and unfair. I'm done trying to make sense of it. I just want to protect my own mental health and well-being. Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you all have a better week than I'm having. Remember, you're not alone in your struggles, and that's something to hold on to. Take care.